Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be painting this incredible Majin Vegeta from Lucas Perez Studios. Starting off with an unsolicited crotch shot. You're welcome. As promised from last time, we're diving into more of the process here. Right now I am removing some of the leftover supports, just doing my best to not cut a finger off in the process. Right now, I am trying to get rid of some, looks like I had some layer shift in a few spots here, so just trying to make that a little less prominent. Thankfully, you don't have to go too crazy, or at least I don't go too crazy when cleaning up small things like this. For my models, I find that once the paint's all said and done, most of that stuff's hardly noticeable. Just cleaning up a few edges here, make sure everything fits nice and tight. There are some supports left inside of here, using a diamond bit on the Dremel to cut those out. And after about an hour or so, we have a completely cleaned up model. Had a few spots on the base where the supports failed. So this did, thankfully it's still printed, but this piece did not fit together. So had to go pretty aggressive on the joint here. The bottom ring that base here sat into, but I don't think it was going to be quite tall enough for the LEDs and stuff that I'm going to install. So for this one, I'm making my own base out of some foam. I couldn't find my long razor blade or utility knife, so I'm here messing around trying to get this foam cut, and it's really just not working. That's better. Nothing the old Sawzall can't fix. Right, so for shaping the base, just going to use a utility knife to start carving away some of it and whatnot. Now I'm just using some pliers to pull some chunks out, give it a little more rocky texture. It's actually a test. Those are my wife's pliers. We're going to find out if she watches the video or not. Give a huge shout out to the creator of this figure. Everything fits together fantastically. There was one section where I think I had some issues with the supports on the hair, so the hair didn't fit to the head all that well. So now I'm taking some milliput and gonna fill that gap a little bit. I wanted to keep the hair removable, so I covered the face with some liquid mask and then started sculpting with the two pieces together. I think that looks pretty good. And now it's time for pro tip number 3. Milliput will stick to liquid mask before it sticks to the resin. And there is our fully cleaned model. Now it's on to the paintwork. I typically prime everything with black to hide anything that you might miss further down the line. Here I am just doing some white highlights on the high spots prior to doing skin tones and color. To start off with the skin tones, putting down some red, kind of shooting from the underneath so that it's mainly going into where the shadows would be. Now I am shooting down from the top to catch the highlights with some yellow. Then I will take like a dark purple, maybe a blue, and intentionally create some shadows where I want them. For the first layer of the actual skin tone, I am using a tan flesh from Pro Acryl. I do probably 2 or 3 coats of that, followed by a highlighting of basic skin tone from Vallejo. Skin tone colors are pretty thinned down to allow those base colors we put on previously to show through a little bit. Right, airbrushing is done. Now we move on to blocking out the rest of the details. This step must have taken me over 9,000 seconds. As you're watching this, please keep in mind that I took great care to keep the head and everything in frame and perfectly in focus. And with that, we have all the color on the figure. Now it's time to move on to the fun part. All right, taking some inspiration from the miniature painters. Here I'm using some enamel and oil washes to paint the details such as the battle damage and cuts and scrapes. Would like to highlight that a good clear coat over top of the acrylic base is crucial for this step. You can add as much paint as you want here because you will be removing it with mineral spirits. So the trick here is to put down some paint, take some paint off. You repeat that process until you're happy with the results. You can add a clear coat layer in between these steps. I didn't. I like to live dangerously. If you get the base happy where you want it, you can clear coat before moving on to details like this because the mineral spirits will remove previous layers. Here I'm just using some mineral spirits on a clean brush to remove any of the excess paint where I don't want it. Again, great care was taken to ensure that this was in frame. And that's what it looks like after the first pass. I go back later and add a few more details and, darken a few spots up, add some effects afterwards. But you can see this process can take as long as you want it to take. In total, I probably spent 35 hours on this whole model. On some of the battle damage, the cuts and scrapes. Starting off, I just using a brown, kind of get some dirt in all the detail work that's on the model. Now just moving some of the paint around or removing where I feel necessary. It takes several layers for this to build up and start to look like how you want it to. Side note, this song reminds me of the original Resident Evil movie. It's been forever since I've seen it. No idea if it actually sounds like this, but that's what it makes me think of. So this is more or less the first pass finished. I will move on to the rest of the model and get that finished up. Then I'll come back once this dries and see if there's anything that I want to add or any spots that I feel like I need to remove. All right, and then on to the base. I just used a giant paintbrush here to help add some texture, a blend in between the printed portion and that foam portion. You could certainly spray paint that or, use an airbrush, but I find that using a brush on especially rocky texture like this just helps add some additional texture. Nothing groundbreaking here, just dark base coat, then some dry brushing, and then adding just some acrylic wash here, and then I will dry brush some highlights. That is everything painted. It's now time to put this thing together.
Yeah. Yeah. Legends ain't born, they built from the grind. From benches to banners, we sharpen the mind. We sharpen the sword and promise and swore that we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Hey, yeah, we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Hey, yeah, we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Legends ain't born, they built from the grind. From benches to banners, we sharpen the mind. We sharpen the sword and promise and swore that we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Hey, yeah, we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Hey, yeah, we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. From the tunnel to tip off, we dialed in, letting it rain like I'm Kristaps, a unicorn, something the league never seen. Like Kevin in Houston, the Rockets are ready for liftoff. Amen to the doubters and haters, we pissed off. I'm giving it more than I give off. Worked my whole life to get better and stronger, was hurting, but that turned to something I live on for real. Y'all know the deal. Barbecue chicken when I'm in the field, when I'm on the court. It's more than a sport, I'm in for the kill and looking for souls I can steal. Breaking the rims, I feel like Shaquille. Diesel, I'm gassing, let God take the wheel. Buzzers get beaten from Brooklyn to Sweden, we overseas, always been chasing the thrill. Legends ain't born, they built from the grind. From benches to banners, we sharpen the mind. We sharpen the sword and promise and swore that we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Hey, yeah, we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Hey, yeah, we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Legends ain't born, they built from the grind. From benches to banners, we sharpen the mind. We sharpen the sword and promise and swore that we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Hey, yeah, we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Hey, yeah, we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Yeah, we going hard and leaving it all on the floor. Yeah, we going hard.
And here is the finished model. I'm really happy with how this one came out. There's some details there that weren't captured in the video, but I didn't want it to be 2 hours long. Again, huge shout out to Lucas Perez Studios. This figure is incredible. I plan on doing quite a few more from them. Thank you all so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.